Well, good morning. Well, it's good to see everyone in the Lord's house this morning. You'll have to bear with me. I have some allergies that have been winning the battle the last few days with me, but I'm getting upper hand on it now. But you'll have to bear with me through this. But I'm excited. Last week we talked about the first point of launching Operation Generosity and how to be rich. And we talked about what it is that we want to be known for here at the Core Church and how we feel that we should act as Christians, that we should be generous. And we looked at a passage in Scriptures where Jesus was telling a parable about sowing seeds, the sower. And he was saying something along the lines of, those who sow sparingly will reap sparingly. And those who sow generously will reap generously. And we talked about last week, and this is just to catch everyone up to speed, we talked about last week that everyone, when it comes to generosity, what stops most people is their concern that God will fill that need if they make a sacrificial offering. That if they truly give something, they stop because they say, well, if I do this, I don't know if I could pay the power bill, the water bill, pump gas in my car, and they stop at that point right there. But I wanted to stretch you past that and challenge you this month that we were going to partner, that we didn't want to have competitors in the community. We want to have partners in the community, that we're doing a good job, and we wanted to come alongside of them, and we wanted to sow into them generously. And I shared last week that I believe from my heart that God blesses those who bless others. That one thing I've learned is if I see God's anointing on someone, I pour into it because I want to get a blessing too. And it's not stingy, it's smart. It's true. And we talked about that last week. We talked about there's freedom. That it says you have the choice. You could sow generously or you could sow very little. But it's your choice. There's a freedom in it. So we said if we were going to give, there's three ways we were going to give around here. We were going to give generously, we were going to give freely, and we were going to give deliberately. So we partner with 4 ministries, that in the Rescue Mission, Phase 1 Ministry, ABBA Ministry, and the Credo Ministry. And we wanted to partner with them and take this opportunity to sow into them and become partners with them and believe in what they're doing and seeing what God does with that. Are you guys excited about that? All right, the 15 of each you are, I'm glad. What I want you to do is get everyone else excited about that. Are you guys excited about being generous? Let me hear you. Let's get the plates out again, guys. I'm joking. I don't know what that is. I apologize. It might be me moving. Rich Americans don't know they're rich. I made that point last week. Most Americans that are rich don't know they are rich. My prayer is when you become rich, you'll be good at being rich. So I want to share a little bit more as we unfold this today on how to be rich. See, wealth has side effects. Wealth has side effects. Most rich people live in denial. See, the truth is tall people, they know they're tall. Short people know they're short. Athletic people, they know they're athletic. Non-athletic people will tell you, I'm not athletic. And same goes with many areas. But when it comes to finances, oh, no, I'm not wealthy. We all we're not wealthy, but we know someone who is. That's typically how it goes. We're not wealthy, but we know someone who is. And if that person says, no, I'm not wealthy, or we say this, they're so wealthy, they're loaded, but you would never know it. Then how do you know it? You know, we say these things because we live in denial. And rich people do this. And the truth is, it's either because they don't know they're rich, or they don't believe they're rich, or they don't know how to be rich. And I don't want you to fall in that category of not knowing how to be rich. I've got news for you today. Exciting news. I'm going to quit moving my face. See if that helps. Oh, I got exciting news. Listen to this. Are you guys ready? I meant to announce this at the beginning. I promise today I'm going to tell you something. It's going to blow your socks off. You guys are going to be so pumped about this. If you make $45K a year, you're in the top 1.7% of wage earners in the world. You're rich. You're rich. Look to your spouse and we made it. We did it. The pastor just told us we're rich. Where's the excitement? Oh, wait a minute. You're telling me you don't feel rich? You don't feel rich? Well, I hope to change your thinking this morning. It's because you don't think you're rich, of course. See, we live in a society that is built around accumulation, that's built around an appetite for more. See, we have this gathering mentality that we want more and more and more and more. And the truth is we're trying to feel something that we don't even know what we're trying to feel. All we know is when we get it, we feel good for a little bit, and then we want more of it. It's almost like an addict. We get a fix, we like it, we need more of it. And we have that towards wealth and possessions in America. He has the most toys. That's why most homes that have, if we did a survey of people in here that are just two people living in a household, almost guarantee there'll be like 3-point-something cars per household, per family in here. We like to accumulate. We have an upgrade mentality. I'm glad JoJo's not here this morning, or Kevin, because they'd say, wait, you can't preach that, Pastor. Listen to what Americans do. You wouldn't get over this. They'll take a good running car. I don't know what I'm doing. A good running car, and they'll pull into a parking lot, and then they'll look at another car, which of course costs more than that car they're in, and the car dealer says, well, I want your car, and I need some money, and you'll go away with a whole bunch more debt. And you pull off with a car that did the exact same thing that your last car just did, it just didn't smell the same. So Jacqueline, I think if Cincy came up with a new car smell, you can see her, they have it, you can put it in there, and you can not go in debt and have to give you money and leave your car. We have an upgrade mentality. I bet you many people in here have working bathrooms. I've seen this time and time again in renovation. You'll come into a house, and the bathroom's absolutely beautiful. And she said, I can't stand the white toilet. Oh, that white toilet. Good day. I can't stand that white toilet. Look at it. It's just so white. And look at the tub. Oh, it's so clean. We just got to get rid of all of it. And they'll spend 30, 40, 20, 10K, whatever, tear it all out and put in a off-white toilet and a smaller tub. It's an upgrade mentality. We'll tear everything out and put all new stuff back in. Matter of fact, I bet you can finish this sentence. You stood in front of your closet this morning. Here we go, husbands, men. I don't have anything. These are the work clothes. These are after work clothes. These are out in the yard clothes. These, I don't know what those are. I just don't like them and they're wrinkly. These are my sleeping clothes, but I don't have anything to wear. I have nothing to wear. It's true. We have an upgrade mentality. We don't know how to be rich. Most people don't understand that you are rich. You are rich, deeply blessed. And it's important to understand that. Women, I guarantee if we took a survey, there'd be 9.6 pair of shoes per woman in this. What are you going to do with 9 pairs of shoes? You're rich. Most people in here's cars have houses. Most people have cars, have houses they park in. You're rich. Don't even know it. Don't even know it. So this morning, if you have your Bibles with you, turn to 1 Timothy 6, 17 through 19. And he's going to fix me. Don't look behind the curtain. Like the wonderful wizard. jumps off the page to you. Don't be arrogant. Rich people have an inclination of being arrogant. Matter of fact, if you go into a room, you can always tell who the wealthy man is in the room because he knows everything and everyone's around doing this. Just agreeing and nodding, going with it. Yeah, absolutely. I'll jump a cliff with you. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Do whatever you think. They have an arrogance about them. I don't think our rich people here have an arrogance about them. I don't think our rich people here have an arrogance about them. Suddenly, because they got rich, they became smart. That's not the case. I know many wealthy people, but I'm not one. I'm joking. I know many wealthy people that are not very smart, just very blessed, either through an inheritance or through a niche they learned how to work. And then I know many more people that are brilliant minds that live below the poverty level. Just being rich, don't be arrogant. That's what Paul warned. That was number one. That's what Paul told Timothy. Tell the rich people, don't be arrogant. Number two, this happens. Don't let your hope migrate. Don't let your hope migrate. See, what happens is when that money starts rolling in, baby, when the season's good and the blessings are pouring, suddenly your hope begins to migrate. You start thinking of things you didn't think of before. And it wasn't like, I think I'm going to build a new child center for the blind and lost. No, it's like, I'd like to get an RV. I would like to get a Rolls Royce or another car, build a bigger garage or another garage, an addition on the house with a bigger bathroom than the 3 toilets and 4 sinks we have already in the master. It's true. It's so true, and you know it. This is what the wisest and one of the wealthiest men that ever lived, this is what he said. His name was Solomon. He said this, the wealth of the rich is their fortified city. They imagine it a wall too high to scale. What he's saying is rich people build their wealth up and build it around them as it's going to protect them. And they believe it's going to protect their children and their grandchildren and that they'll be safe, that their hope is in their finances. Their hope is in their money. And he says it's almost like they feel it's impenetrable, that it's a wall too high for anyone to scale, even God himself. They no longer need God. They have what they need. They have a fortified city of protection around them. And the truth is, it's not the truth. I got a question for you this morning, and I already know the answer. This is how good I am. For every single one of you, I know the answer. Let me ask you this question this morning. How much would it take to give you a peace of mind? How much money would it take to give you peace of mind? More than you have right now. For all of you. I don't care if you're a millionaire to someone don't have $5 in their account right now. It's more than what you got now for every single one of you, including myself. We've got to learn, church, that God gives us everything that we need to live a life worthy. He gives us everything. And some of us, he says, some I've given you little and entrusted you and you've done well. And I'm going to give you a little bit more. And some of you, he says, I've given you a lot. You haven't fared so well with this. I might have to take some of that back until you learn. See, some people come in and say, oh, I need a raise, pray for a raise, pray for a raise. And then the raise comes and I say, the tithe didn't go up. And he said, I don't know, it's just hard for me to write that check. And I know how to pray. Take them back down, Lord. Take them back down to where it's easier for them to write that check. Bring them way back down. Let them write the $5 before they can write the $500. Lord, help them. It's so true. See, Money Magazine did a survey of how much money would it take for people to feel that they're rich. How much money would it take? Do you know Money Magazine says that what they said, for you to feel rich, you need $5 million. Would you believe it that someone who made $34,000 a year said rich to their eyes was someone who made over $70,000? And the person who made over $100,000 a year says the person that made $150 was rich. And the person that made $150 said the person that made $300 was rich. And the person that was $1 million income a year says they did not feel rich, that those who made $3 million a year felt rich. But even those who made $3, now that they read this article, now they say, crud, I'm not rich because I don't have $5 million. That's what Money Magazine says in our society. We do not understand how to be rich or how to live in abundance. See, the Lord has given us everything we need. Do you know that poor people are more generous than wealthy people? When it comes to margin, it's true. Poor people will give more than wealthy people when it comes to margin. I tell you, as God starts filling it, well, that hand suddenly does this with a wealthy person. But a poor person's like this. Man, that's all I got. I can't put my hope in that. Maybe you can use it. Maybe you can use it. That's what he's talking about, that it's not about the quantity. It's about the quality of the given. That's where he was talking about that we talked last week in Luke 21, when they were watching them take up the offering and the wealthy were putting in extravagant amounts of money. And that poor widow dumped it. He said, who gave more? And see, God understands that it's not about quantity. It's about the quality of giving it. It's about the heart. He said that widow gave more. She gave all she had. They gave out of their wealth. She gave all she had. She gave more than they gave. When we become wealthy, we feel like we need to start hoarding. That's the truth. The more we got, the more we got to hold on to. Some of us don't consider ourselves rich, and yet our hope has already begun to migrate. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't want you to feel like you can't dream. I'm not here to crush dreams this morning. I'm here to tell you that you put hope in Jesus Christ, that your hope lies in Him, that your hope cannot lie in the riches of the world and the lies of the world. See, the kingdom of heaven says if you want to be first, you got to be last. It's different here. We do things different. We're not like the world. We don't run like them. We don't walk like them. We don't talk like them. We don't think like them. We're not the world. We've been saved for a purpose and a reason. And it's much more than to build more extravagant and to get more possessions, to do more and more. When Jesus Christ was on the cross, did He die like this? Or did He die like this? He gave it all. He wasn't holding on to it and says, I'm going back home, forget you guys. You're all jacked up. God is giving. We're most like God when we give. John 3:16, for God so loved the world, not you, not the saved, not the saints, the world, the sinner alike. God so loved the world that He gave. We're most like God when we're giving. And God is a generous God. He's a giving God. We should be like that, a generous, giving people. We should be known in the community. That core church, I tell you what, they may only run a few hundred, but they are a powerful group of people. I'll tell you what, they make a difference in this community. They make a difference. They might not have the biggest sanctuary. They might not have the biggest gymnasium. They might not have the biggest fellowship center. They might not have the biggest piece of property. They might not have the GQ magazine worship band or the best looking pastor, but he ain't too shabby. But I tell you, but they're a giving people. And they're a generous people. They're loving people. I tell you, they're generous. That's the testimony. That's what God would have for us. When wealth becomes our hope, we begin to hoard. But in verse 17 is not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth. That's what he's talking about. Don't put your hope in wealth. See, a lot of people want to criticize pastors. Why do you talk about pastors? I guarantee you, I can make this statement this morning and it be true, that there is someone missing here this Sunday that was here last Sunday because they knew I was going to be talking on this subject. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Why is the pastor talking about money? You want to know why? One, Jesus did. He talked more about money than he did heaven or hell. Paul did. Scripture's all covered with it. But the number one competitor for your heart. See, a lot of people say, they think it's like this God and devil, and I don't think that's, I think most of you here are kind of weighing towards the God thing. I think most of you are kind of on this side of the fence or leaning that way, or you wouldn't even be here. What's in the most competition for your heart is money. Money, wealth, power. That is what is in competition with your heart. This is what it says right here. Matthew 6:24, no one can serve two masters. Either you will hate one and love the other, or you'll be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Suddenly, wealth becomes a substitute for God. We got to understand what it is, how to be rich. It says this in Proverbs. I would write this down if when it comes up. I would write this down, or if you're a highlighter, if you're not allowed to write in your Bible, write in your notes. I don't see anyone even getting ready to write. I want you guys to get ready to write. I'm not going to even go on until I see you getting ready to write. I'm serious. Because I need a drink of water. Get you a pen. Might get me a chair. We're going to be here a while, people. Do we got pens? Don't lie to the pastor. We ready? Borrow one from your neighbor. Who doesn't have one? This is how important it is. I'm going to stop service. I need you to understand this. I want you to write this down and read it this week. You guys ready? Has anyone got pens? I can see you there in the back. All right, we've got someone raising one up. Who needs a pen? Raise your hand. All right, here we go. Proverbs 30, verse 7 through 9. Let me read it to you. 2 things I ask of you, Lord. Do not refuse me before I die. Keep falsehood and lies far from me. Give me neither poverty, nor riches, but give me only my daily bread. Otherwise, I may have too much and disown you and say, who is the Lord? Or I may become poor and steal and dishonor the name of my God. That should be a prayer that should echo in your hearts. That your sole purpose in life is not to gain more wealth, more power, move up that corporate ladder. By the way, I don't want to kill your dreams. If your dream is to be that CEO, man, get after it, because I would much rather have a Christian CEO that's still working on their faith than to have some pagan up there. You understand? You keep getting after it. I'm not here to crush you. I'm just saying that should not be your purpose. That should not be your faith. That should not be your hope. That should just be something that if God's desire for you to have, He'll give it to you. You're wanting to honor God, so that's why you're the very best. You know, I heard the guy who owned McDonald's, Ray Kroc, he was giving a speech at the University of Texas, and he was talking to him. And one thing that echoed in my mind over and over again, he says, listen, college kids, you want to move up in life? He says, this is how you do it. He says, what you need to do is when you go to work at my restaurant chain, once you graduate, because that's where graduates go now is McDonald's. It's true, there ain't jobs out there. You start making those fries, Roger, and when you make them better than anybody else. And suddenly you will no longer be the fry guy because, man, you did great. You're going to be the sandwich guy. And I'll tell you what, not one sandwich is going to come out of that line misordered or messed up. It's going to be the best sandwich every time because you're the best. You take pride. You're doing it as if you're doing it unto God. Next thing you know, you're the manager of the store. Next thing you own the stores. Why? Because you're honoring God. Because you're doing what God would have you do. Do you understand the difference? Good. I have 2 questions, and we're starting to see the landing strip. So hang in with me. Lost it. 2 questions. Which one of these gives you more anxiety? Which one of these brings more fear to your heart? You ready for the first one? There is no God. There's no God. When you die, it just lights out, zip, zilch. Sayonara, good luck. Good job, see you later. Or this one, you're broke. You're broke. Not only broke, but you're in debt. Not only do you have no money, you owe more. Which one of those statements bothers you more? Don't be tempted with greed. You could tell those who are going after it with a worldly point of view. They're ungrateful for what they have. Piece of crap Lexus, Mercedes, no good. They're ungrateful. They also have an entitlement, as if they earned it or owed it. I've been through it. This is my due. This is my reward. Also, they have this ugly spirit about them, a greed, more. It's never enough. Don't fall into the temptations. He says this in verse 18 in Timothy, command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. We will not enjoy it. You will not enjoy it, not we. You will not enjoy your wealth if you go after it with a worldly point of view. It's never enough. But if you learn how to be rich and to be blessed, not only in good deeds, but in generosity, you will realize that this morning you could have got excited about being rich because you really understand that you are rich, deeply blessed by God, regardless of what it is you face. Most things you face, you got yourself into, not God. Most debt on the credit card, most debt on the things that we have is not because of God. It's because of the desires of our own hearts and the decisions we make. Now we got to live up to the consequences of the decisions we made at that time. That's why we got to learn how to be rich and understand needs from wants and understand how to make good decisions and prayerfully and not just go around thoughtlessly and hopelessly and unprayerfully making decisions. We do them deliberately and we do them prayerfully. And we make a decision because we know that God entrusted us with this very little, because we all know we don't have much. We're not that wealthy. We don't have that much, Pastor, which is relevant to whoever you are. But God has entrusted you with that. And I promise you, I've seen it too many times, that God will continue to bless you if you're generous and giving. So this morning, I just want to end with this right here with you. You guys have been so good to me in participating. I want you to end with me with this saying. It's on the bottom of your bulletin, excuse me. Because the truth is one day, you're going to be in that hospital bed, or you're going to be in that living care center, or laying in the bed at your home with family around you, and you're not going to say, I wish I'd have worked one more day. If I'd have got one more time overtime in, I probably could have gave you $500,000 worth $499,000. You're going to be laying there saying, man, I wish I would have been more generous. I wish I would have spent more time with my family. You're going to lay there and rethink those things in life, not about all the overtime, about all the salary increase, all these things that you chased your whole life because you tried to fill something that was unfillable, because you approached it with wrong. You didn't understand how to be rich. So this is how we do it. I will not put my hope in riches, but I will put in Him who richly provides. I want you to say that with me. I will not. Do you believe it? I will not put my hope in my riches, but to Him who richly provides. Many of you are generous beyond means. I have to catch up to so many of you. Many of you got generosity muscles that make Arnold Schwarzenegger look like a little weakling. But some of us, we haven't begun to work out yet that generosity muscle. So this month, this week, this morning, I want to give you an opportunity. We're going to take up a love offering with the hard hats again. But I told about the rescue mission. And we had Rick Barrett up here last week that shared with that. And then we also had Phase 1 Ministry, Sandy, up here. She shared. Well, this morning, we have 2 other ministries. The other 2 we're partnered with. And I want to invite them up here. Again, we don't want to look for competitors, but partners that we can partner with. So this morning, is Teresa here from Abacare? Come on up, would you please? Let's give her a warm core welcome.
So much for allowing me to worship with you this morning. First, let me say that this might be the best part of my job, to stand and look at you. You guys are an amazing crowd and a beautiful congregation. I want to tell you a little bit about who we are. Many of you know us. You have been familiar with the ministry. We were formed 25 years ago as a group of pastors came together to take a stand for life for the unborn. We were founded on the gospel of Jesus Christ. That belief is that life is sacred and that we are created in God's image, and the knowledge of life begins at conception. We must, as staff or volunteers, anyone who is there, we must commit to these biblical truths. We offer all of our services at Abacare are free of charge. We are confidential, and we will we will counsel with anyone who walks through our doors. We see many cultures. We see varied faith. multiple social and economic backgrounds, and we see them without judgment or condemnation, without bias or prejudice. We are respectful of their beliefs and we honor their dilemma. But it is our intent to provide for them the truth and to share the love of Jesus Christ. We would never recommend or refer for an abortion, but we extend love and compassion to anyone who walks through our doors. This year is the 40th anniversary of Roe versus Wade. This is the 40th year that our government has sanctioned abortion in this nation. In these 40 years, the United States has lost more than 54 million babies. This is more than the entire population of Canada. But we are hopeful people, and we will not give up. We are transforming the world one person at a time. I told you that our foundation of the ministry of Abacare is Jesus Christ. It is the gift of Christ and his authority which allows us to offer grace and love to our clients. It is only Christ who can give unconditional love, forgiveness, and the offer of salvation. And we are committed to share this hope with the women and the men who come to Abacare. We hope to share a life-affirming message that will make abortion unnecessary and unwanted. Well, this fight for life takes on many faces. And at Abacare, we are not the protesters. We are not the lobbyists or the picketers. Ours is often an audience of one in a conversation that is intimate with a wounded soul, someone who is in need of compassion and love. They have bought the lie, it's not really a baby. But you too are in this arena fighting. I heard your pastor today talking about the message of generosity and how I too am convicted to think about what we can do and who we are, because we are people of the Lord, and all that we do can be used in his kingdom. But I thank you for your support. I thank you for allowing me to be here. I do want to say that for us, even one baby aborted is too many. In the U.S. alone, that happens every 26 seconds. There are 137 every hour, 3,304 every day. It is heart-wrenching. It is impossible to even imagine that. But at the same time, we want to rejoice over each life saved, and we want to praise God for the gift of life. And we also want to offer forgiveness through the name of Jesus Christ for anyone who has made that choice and is feeling those consequences. And we want to give him the glory. I wanted to share just a couple of stories. I hope I have time. Stories seem to be the way that we can connect with our audience to let you know what really happens at Abacare. We had a young teenager come recently, and the parents were angry, very angry, because she was pregnant. And their desires for her were in that order of, she's going to finish high school, she's going to college, she'll someday have a job, she'll someday have a husband, she'll someday have a career. And all of that seemed to be lost at that moment because she was pregnant. We met with her, the counselors met with her and took her into the ultrasound room. And as most of you would know, an ultrasound is an opportunity to see the life in the womb and to hear the heartbeat and to recognize that this is a baby, not a glob of tissue. And the parents were still angry about this, and the young girl was crying. They did the ultrasound, and suddenly that father recognized this baby was his first grandchild. So everything changed, and they honored life for that child. Another situation happened not long after that. The emergency room doctors called us and said, may we send someone to you? It's a young couple whose culture does not value life. The woman was very sick, just sick with that early pregnancy, and so she thought, I'll just end this. I'll just take care of this. Well, she came, and we counseled her, we talked with her, and she was allowed to see that. She asked to see the ultrasound machine. She asked to see the screen. And the nurse said, what if this is your only child? And again, she saw the heartbeat. She saw the fingers and the toes. And it's an amazing gift to be able to say to them, this is life. This is what God has given you. We love to be able to hear the end of the stories. We don't always know that. Sometimes our initial counseling will be the only counseling that we have the opportunity to see. I think we have a video today that's going to describe some of the things that happened there, but I wanted to share with you that we do an intake for anyone who comes. We offer them the chance to walk alongside them through a crisis pregnancy. We might offer parenting or maternity or childbirth classes. We also have a fatherhood program that they might receive mentoring, and we receive volunteers from many churches, and we are so grateful when people want to come alongside and walk with us as we mentor these people that have found themselves in crisis. We also have a teen abstinence program, and I left some information with your pastors in regards to May 8th, which is, it's called the Silver Ring Thing, and it's a youth rally to talk about abstinence and to help youth make a decision that they will live their lives to honor God and save sex for marriage. We also provide material assistance at times to these women who come, and that might be the reason they're there. I can't have this baby because I can't, again, we've talked about money this morning, I can't afford it. And what we say is, let us help you. Let us be part of the package that comes alongside to say you can do this, and we will stand with you for life. I thank you again for allowing me to be here. You are a beautiful crowd, and it's been a pleasure to meet many of you. Enjoy the video, and it's about 3 minutes, I think, about a couple of our clients, and they're just wanting to share with you about Obamacare. Thank you. For 25 years, Obamacare has been a pregnancy care ministry rooted in the compassion and love of Jesus Christ. We exist to empower life-affirming decisions, to offer educational support, and to engage women, men, and babies in relationship.
I found out I was pregnant. I went to Obamacare to get the confirmation pregnancy test. And we had an ultrasound. I was feeling very nervous because it was so real that I actually saw it for the first time, and I kind of wasn't sure what I was going to do, where I was going to go, but the people that work here greeted me, and I just could tell that people really cared here, and I knew that I was safe. Anytime anything was going on or there was a situation, I knew that I had people behind me praying for me and backing me up 100%. When my daughter was born, I felt very prepared, and I felt not nervous, and I knew that I was going to be able to do it, and if anything happened, I could always go to Obamacare, and they would still be willing to do anything to help me with any situation I had going on.
I joined Christy in a few of the paternity classes, pre-birth, which were very educational, very sincere, and a lot of help from the people here, and it helped us prepare for her when she arrived. And also got a chance to do the men's class, which I could relate a little bit better to